Hey, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to Life Mastery Decoded for women and women entrepreneurs, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships with mind mastery and meditation tools and techniques so that you can live the life that you're proud of. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's podcast, where I'm hoping to find you part of a supportive community. And if you are not feeling like you are part of a community and you are feeling alone in your life, then it is my intention that you get one nugget from today's episode to help towards your transformation and maybe even just entertaining the idea of joining a community. Now, today we're going to be talking about the purpose of community and why I think it's important for everyone to be a part of it. Now, what am I doing? So I remember I grew up in a church, in a Catholic church. We're part of a community, and it didn't go very well for me. You know, I was judged by what I was wearing or what I was not wearing, or how I looked and how I dressed and what I talked like and whatever. So I didn't really enjoy this non-accepting community that I was a part of. So now that was just my experience. My mom has a very good experience with her religious community, and she is very accepted. And my mom's a little eccentric, but she's very well accepted and absolutely loves her community. Since I left the church was in 1990. I never went back. I had a terrible experience, but it was an experience enough that made me very self-conscious and kind of not feel very good about myself. And so I decided I was never going to belong to a church again. But since then, because I really like the idea of communities, since then, that has been what I've done. That has been all a part of my vision. So when I worked at a school and I was a gym teacher for a little while, and I made sure that all of my students were participating in the gym class. So I would make sure that whatever activities we were doing, that boys and girls, all ages, were going to be okay and accepted. And if there was bullying or teasing or picking on or laughing at, those things were squashed out immediately. We did a lot of team building activities to really bond the kids together. And I have to say, for me, looking back at that, I didn't have, the seventh grade girls sitting out on the stage while the boys played soccer, where girls don't want to get sweaty in front of the boys and whatever. And I made sure to build this community where people could kind of express themselves in this kind of a way, in this exercise and game playing and having fun together without the fear of judgment from others. Then when I became a personal trainer and a boot camp instructor, that's exactly what I did, is that I continued to create communities. And most of my clients were women. And so it became this boot camp class where a lot of people were just having loads of fun together and sharing in their journey. And we would have journaling evening at the end of the day where we were talking about things that were bothering them or reasons why they were not succeeding. And then we would all help each other. And it really stood kind of the test of time, so to speak, where now these women, I still see that they're still friends, and occasionally they still get together. And it's just amazing to me to continue to watch that if I didn't build this community, then these people would maybe have not been friends, like ever. Maybe they never would have met each other. And I love that. And so what I'm trying to do here with my target audience being women, of course, but also women entrepreneurs. But if you're listening, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. To me, that is just, what your career choice is. But there's a lot of emotional restrictions and resistance that goes along with stepping into the entrepreneur field. And there's a lot of risk that goes into that. But I am also sharing information that would help anybody. If you want to level up in your life, you could do it, and you could do it through this podcast. If you want to level up yourself and your business, you could also do that through this podcast, because a lot of the information goes all the way across the board. So getting back to communities. So that's what I did. And I absolutely loved it, that I would create this activity or this game or this workout class. And then I could stand back and I could watch these people engage with each other. They would ask each other questions. They would share. It's only because it was a boot camp class, and it was pretty tough. I mean, I was pretty hard on these girls, but it's kind of, we said that you loved me at the beginning, you hated me during, and you loved me at the end, because I pushed your boundaries of what you thought you could do in my class. And now I kind of feel like I'm doing the same thing with this podcast, where I'm sitting here going, I am staring into space right now, but I am staring into your heart. And I am standing right here holding your hand through this journey. Even if it's just my voice that you're hearing, I am standing here supporting you in your endeavors, no matter what your endeavors are. Because it could be you're searching for love. You're searching for a deep-seated, wonderful relationship. It could be that you're looking for wealth and you're wanting to build your own business and you're wanting to give back to society. Or it could be that you're just wanting to be healthy and feel vibrant and sexy again. Whatever it is, I am standing right here on this platform with my hand out to you. Now, how do I do that through a podcast? How do I build this community? And this is today where we talk about community and what that really means. Years and years ago, across our entire planet, there were communities of women. And they were established in each of their villages, their religions, their backgrounds, their cultures. And a lot of places still build their towns, their villages on community. And women go through these different stages of life. So do men, but women go through these different stages of life. So they hit their menstrual cycle. Well, they used to leave the village and go to this hut where all of the older senior women, the elders of the community, would spend that week with that young woman who was going through her menstrual cycle, and they would tell her stories about life. They would share their struggles and their successes with this young woman. And she would spend her week being surrounded by support, acceptance, and love. And that is my goal with this podcast. I'm continuing to stand here and accept you where you are in your journey in hopes that I could give you one little nugget after another to help you to move forward in your life. That's my goal. That's my job. That's my purpose. And how do I continue to do that? Well, I can do that through these podcasts, and you can continue to know that energetically and spiritually, I am standing right by your side. I am assisting you. I am helping you. I am giving you content that has helped me and enriched my life and in my family and my relationships and my business and my income, that I want to give that back to you. And the other thing is I wanted to put a Facebook group together. Now, if you're like me, you're a part of a whole load of Facebook groups. But what I want my Facebook group to be like is a supportive environment, an accepting, loving, supportive space for you to share. Now, how do we create that space? It is a little bit difficult when everybody is virtual, but I want to be able to hold, once the group gets bigger, is to be holding live group sessions. And I want to be holding Zoom calls and group coaching where we all can get together. Like, you've heard of women's retreats, and you go to some fancy place and you enjoy the pool and the spa and horseback riding and occasional meeting with each other and some life lessons and some tools and some excitement and all that, right? Well, we can't do that live right now because of COVID, and I don't have a big enough following to put something like that together just yet. But what I want to do is I want to be able to put that together once our group gets big enough and put that together in our Facebook group. Now, what in the world does that mean for you? That means that I am creating a safe space for you to go, to be yourself, to share in your struggles and your successes. And as we do that, we continue to help each other and support each other. And we do a Zoom call and we get everybody live, and you guys start to see each other. We start to talk with each other. You start to raise hands and we engage with each other. But right now, that community is not big enough. That community doesn't have the traction that I'm wanting before we start to do that. So what I'm asking is that now I have changed it from the page where it was Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind, to Life Mastery Decoded, which is the name of this podcast. And so I want you to go to Facebook, and I want you to go to up in the search, and I want you to type in Life Mastery Decoded, and you might see two things show up. One is a page and one is a group. The page is going to get deleted, but we're going to have it be in the group. And why did I change it to a group? Well, one is I can place content in there to share with you, like guided meditations and PDFs that maybe have the intentions list on them, or some other teachings. Of course, I can do live videos in there. We can do engagement in different ways than we could if it was just the page. So that's why. But what I'm hoping is that you understand the power of community. So all these women, they go through all these stages, and the younger woman might go and spend the week over there listening to all these stories. What about the woman who's pregnant, who is in a relationship and her husband doesn't really understand? Like, he's never going to be pregnant. He understands as best as he can. And if you've ever been pregnant, you know that your husband or your boyfriend just kind of doesn't get it, right? And now, I've never been pregnant, but I could totally get it. Like, the person can only understand through which they have experience. And until you have the experience, you can't fully understand. I've never been pregnant, so I can't fully understand what it feels like to be pregnant. I can only logically understand. But these women in their community, when one woman was pregnant, is that she would also be able to go into this hut or into this community space and share her story, her struggle with all of the other women that were there. They give her ideas. They give her advice. They share with her. They listen to her. They accept her where she is. And it lessens her struggle in her journey just a little bit. You know, if you're suffering from something, some ailment, let's say, you want to maybe share with somebody who has also gone through that ailment. I know I would. And I think that in our Facebook group, we could provide that to one another, because there's going to be people who have gone through your journey. There have been people who have maybe they were overweight and they lost 100 pounds, and they can share with you in the emotional struggle that you might be going through. Because I can only share my struggle with you. I can't share every struggle. If you come in there and you're talking about your pregnancy struggle, I can't share that with you. If you come in there and say that, you were in a relationship for 30 years and you're going through a divorce, I can't share that struggle. I can share the general breakup struggle with you, but I can't share this whole section of your, more than half of your life, and then you're going through a divorce or where your partner died. I can't share that with you, but somebody in our community might be able to. So what are the other important things about having, belonging to a community? Well, one of the things that I really suffered when I was in some of those unhealthy relationships is that I felt so alone, that I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone to share information with. As soon as she would turn in the other direction and cheat on me, I basically was like, man, you're not someone I can trust anymore. And now I'm hurting and I can't talk to you because the choices that you're making is what's hurting me. So I can't really relate to you. I can't talk to you, right? And counselors are great, except they kind of perpetuate the emotional state, in my opinion, from my personal experience. And so I felt like if I could get to that stage where I could find a community of people who were going through what I was going through, I'm pretty darn sure that would have eased my pain. I'm pretty sure that would have lessened my struggle in that particular journey. So I want to create that safe space where you have a sense of belonging. You belong to this community. And I want to be able to create that space where we do meet each other and see each other. So they're not just a name on a piece of paper. Or I'm sorry, a name on a screen. Like, oh, I'm talking to Mary Smith. Who's Mary Smith? Well, if you meet with her on a Zoom call, you now get to know her. You get to have conversation with her. You get to have chat with her. You can exchange emails or phone numbers or messenger on Facebook, and you get to build this relationship of somebody who has gone through what you're going through. And then why would we want that? Because if we're sharing in our struggle, if you picture the struggle of, let's literally say, a physical journey, I'm going to walk from northern Michigan to California, and I'm going to walk through all kinds of weather, and I'm going to storm the miles of hills and heat or crazy animals or the desert or whatever. If I go and do that, I can now share my journey with the next person who's going to be walking from Michigan to California, right? And I could say, okay, wait, you don't want to take US 80 because there's this buffalo farm where the buffaloes run free and I almost got killed. Or you don't want to go through Nebraska because it is the most boring state of all states, and it's long and it's boring and it's hot, right? I can share my struggles that I went through. Then that person can decide if they want to do that or not, if they want to go through it or not, right? You can go through Nebraska if you want to. I'm telling you, it's a really boring state. I can't imagine walking. I think it's I-80 that goes through Nebraska. Anyway, but now you can kind of lessen, you can share in their knowledge, you can kind of bask in their inspiration and in their leverage, their knowledge and their experience that changes what your experience could have been. Does that make sense? The other is that once you go through a struggle and you have learned and applied some knowledge of your own, and you have gone through and now you're on the other side of it, is that now you can inspire others. So somebody raises their hand and say, hey, you know what? I was in this relationship for 15 years and my partner just died of cancer and I'm completely alone. I don't know how to do things on my own. I don't know how to balance a checkbook. I don't know how to order groceries or deal with all the technology of paying bills online. We can help you, right? Somebody knows how to do that. But whatever your struggle is, you can leverage our experience and our knowledge. And the last one is just plain support. I can't tell you how many times I felt, and I think, I think of why suicide happens. Not always, but why somebody would get to that state. They have nobody to talk to. They have no place to go. They have nobody who truly understands. You go and sign up for to talk to a counselor. That counselor, they give you their educated guess, but have they really been there? Some probably, yes. But are they just giving you their written response that came out of their years of reading? All that's fantastic, but can you really relate? Does it really help? There were times when I was in high school that my mom was requiring that every week I go to counseling, and I found it to be quite laughable and not a safe space. And then there were times, of course, where I confided in people that then broke my trust. So that's not a safe space. And I want to provide that for people. If there's people out there that are suffering, that are alone, that are struggling in life, because life can be hard. It can kick you down. It can blindside you. It can completely take away your hope. And as I stand here now today in my living room, looking out the window and trying to inspire you, this is my gift to you, is that I build this community for people to come to, for women and women entrepreneurs to come to and share in their experience. So this was a little bit of a commercial, but at the same time, a little bit of motivation or inspiration to help you to seek out a community of like-minded individuals that you can be a part of, in hopes that we just share in this journey that we call life, right? That we just share in this struggle. And then once we get through the struggle together, is that now we can help others that are also struggling, and we can support them and inspire them. So please come over to the Facebook group, Life Mastery Decoded, check in, like the page, follow the page, introduce yourself. And then once we get built enough, once we get some people in there, maybe I'd say once we get to 10 people, this is early on. I hope that if you're listening to this way in the future, that there's 1,000 people in that group or 10,000 women in that group. But right now we're trying to get to 10 people. We get to 10 women in there. I'm going to hold a Zoom call, and we're all going to be a part of it. And we're all going to share with each other. That's my goal. And I hope you join me. Thanks for listening, and if you liked this episode, please take the time to like and share. Also, please visit me on my other social media pages. I'm on Instagram, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I'm on Facebook, where we have this community titled Life Mastery Decoded, and it's a community of women and women entrepreneurs where we come together to support one another in sharing our successes and struggles. You can also check out my YouTube channel, where I share my teachings and my personal journey, and it's simply titled Jen Mack, Jenmac. Have a great day, and I hope to hear from you.